What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment here from the official WeGameHere.com, and welcome to the 11th episode of One-on-One with Fame Entertainment. Now, as you guys know, this is a platform for YouTubers and gamers alike to come on and let their voice be heard. Now, the guy I have on today is he was a big influence to me when I started my channel. He was there from day one when I had 5 subs, created my original logo and logo that you guys see. Not a WeGameHere one, but my other logo, he's created that one. He's been a big help from day one. He's continued to give advice and things like that. I talked about him on a few other shows before. So go ahead and introduce yourself, my man.
Hey everybody, it's Anchorman here from well, I guess TickGN.com, WeGameHere, whatever group I'm in this week, Xbox Nation, the Army. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, Anchorman. I know, like I said, you got the group, the V Army, and that's where I found you. I joined the group and I found you. But you know, and when like I said, when I first started, you gave me the tips and tools and what to look for, you know, as far as what's more important, views and stuff, and all the other things, man, that you had me out with. But what made you want to help out other YouTubers? What made you? Because you would literally go out and just scope for smaller YouTubers that you thought they really had something going, and you would help them, you know, build their channel. Like, what made you want to do that in the first place?
When I got started on YouTube, I kind of toyed around with it at first with like Black Ops 2's theater mode. I really just toyed around with that, just trying to see how things worked. I wasn't really going for views. It was more just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna upload it to YouTube so I can show my clip to my friend, kind of stuff. So when I got started, I wasn't really trying to. I didn't have an agenda or anything. Wasn't doing anything like that. I started my channel officially in February of 2014. The video that recognized was Hitler reacts to Microsoft buying Gears of War IP, and it got a lot of attention. And Phil Spencer responded to it, Aaron Greenberg, Rod Ferguson, and I realized after that, I talked to a couple people, and they're like, "Oh, you should do YouTube." I'm like, "Okay," and I started toying around with YouTube, and it was really hard to get attention, mostly because everybody is out talking. Trying to bring in the attention of everybody else, and everyone's competing for airtime. I got really lucky when a YouTuber called Arsenal187 asked if I could put my video on one of his channel, and he said, and I said, yeah, sure, of course. And then like in a day, I got like 400 subs, and it just kind of like jump started my channel. And I figured when I was about like 1,000 subs or something like that other people have the same problem I did. They just needed to get noticed. That's what I just focused on doing.
Yeah, because I mean, it's really difficult, you know, starting a YouTube channel. I mean, not really starting it, but getting your voice out there. You know, I think that's the hardest part. Is, you know, if searching out and finding people who's willing to give you a hand, and you seem to be one of the people you never. I mean, we game together. We just got off a payday just now. I mean, I don't think you've ever turned down to help anyone, really. So, I mean, that's absolutely amazing. Do you plan on continue? I mean, let's say you hit 20,000 subs tomorrow. Are you gonna go Hollywood on us, Anchorman? You gonna continue to help the little guy?
I mean, I don't have plans on stopping. If anybody ever has any questions, I'm always on Xbox, so we just always ask, and I always try to answer the questions. I get a lot nowadays, a lot of messages. I try to respond to all of them, but a couple slip through on occasion, and it's nothing personal on that front. Just a couple slip through. I try to help whoever I can, mostly just gaming channels. My biggest stipulation has been I don't really help at this point, just because there's so many I go through. I don't really shoot for the channels that do face cam videos, really. Gameplay is what if you're a gaming channel, gameplay should be the primary focus. And in this day and age, you don't even have to have an Elgato or anything else to have gameplay anymore.
Yeah,
it's free.
Yeah. And just to switch gears, thinking about, because that made me thinking about capturing gameplay, things like that. Now the Xbox just has backwards compatibility, and now I can finally, well, whenever they adopted with Black Ops 2, I can finally record Black Ops 2 gameplay. That's one of my favorite games of all time. Do you have any thoughts on backwards compatibility? Do you think it was a bad move at any way, shape, or form for Microsoft to introduce backwards compatibility?
Backwards compatibility on pretty much every front was a good move, except for maybe an ideological one. And it's kind of like a really weak argument. I'm still kind of formulating if I were trying to be a pessimist or a dick. So it would be along the lines of, okay, Xbox, while trying to go forward, is now suddenly going backward, trying to bring in the 360 crowd, because they couldn't get the next gen market, so they're trying to capture the last gen market. And it's like, it's a weak argument, honestly. But I mean, for the rest of it, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I was talking to Apostate Cow the other night. We were talking about how it was just a good idea because you capture the 360 market, which has been either moved on to PS4 or has just been stuck. Like, okay, I'm not going to move from I'm a gearhead. What incentive do I have to move on to the next generation when there's no gears yet? So you just say, okay, I'm not going to do it until all of a sudden, oh look, backwards compatibility. What if you don't have those games? Well, let's say, okay, Fallout 4 is coming out, and backwards compatibility comes out, and you're like, okay, I want to play a Fallout game, but I got an Xbox One, what do I do? And now you can play Fallout 3 and New Vegas. And so now you have the opportunity to go, and if you don't have those games, you can either buy it digitally from Microsoft, and now GameStop can get a little extra money from that used market because you can find those games for like $10, $5.
That's what I was going at. I was going to ask you, who's the bigger benefactor from this, Microsoft or GameStop?
At this point, I gotta say GameStop, simply because Microsoft isn't advertising Xbox 360 games on the store yet, which would be a great move if they finally did that. But I mean, it is still in beta. It hasn't launched yet. They're supposed to get a new preview dashboard thing sometime next month. So I mean, there's plenty of time to change that. But as soon as it launches, for games that you missed, like let's say I never played Dishonored. I want to play Dishonored before Dishonored 2. I know they're doing a remastered game, but I don't feel like forking out $50 to $60. I can go to GameStop and buy it for $20 or something. Or if Microsoft actually put it on their store, you can get it for a good price too, and you get it digitally.
Do you think this will be the death blow to remasters, or do you think we're still going to continue to see remasters?
I think we're still going to see remasters, also just because Sony's platform doesn't do backwards compatibility either. Well, now the only system that doesn't do backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Because PC, Wii U, and now Xbox One does backwards compatibility, and they don't charge you for it extra. So, I mean, on that front, that kind of sucks for them. So, I mean, I think remasters will still exist, and as we are constantly reminded, PlayStation has the largest market share right now. In terms of console sales, so remasters still have potential to sell.
You think there's any way they make a 180 as far as backwards compatibility in the PS4? Because I mean, PS4 has such a huge lead; they've gotten kind of cocky. So like, oh, PS now was perfectly fine for you guys with backwards compatibility. Any way, shape, or form, they make a 180.
The only way I could even see it's even possible is if they decided PlayStation Now was suddenly free. The only reason the Xbox 360 is able to do an emulator is because it's not running on the cell processor like the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because PS3 to PS4 is a huge change of technology, going from the cell processor to the x86 architecture, which is pretty much what the Xbox One and PS4 are using. So I mean, it's not that big of a difference, but from the 360 to the 360 to Xbox One, it's not as big of a leap as it was PS3 to PS4.
So it's more of a architecture over more than it is arrogance, not doing the backwards compatibility.
Because it just runs on a different factor. Because you'd have to. I'm not a technical person. I really try to avoid saying stuff like that, acting like I pretend I know stuff. But I mean, I'm just saying what I have heard significantly along the technical lines. But my understanding is that the PS3 is just unable to have its games emulated on PS4 because it's a completely different architecture. And the only way you can do that was from streaming games, that's why PlayStation Now exists. Now, like I said before, the only way you can possibly do that is if Sony said, we're not going to charge you for PlayStation Now anymore, which they're going to lose out a lot of money because Gaikai, they just spent a shit ton of money on Gaikai.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. You don't do it, and people hate you for it, or you do it and you lose money.
You're right on, man. Like I don't like I made a video saying that this backwards compatibility for the Xbox it'll be the death blow to PSN because PS Now, because a lot of people they're going to realize that they're paying for the same game twice. But to transition over, for any of you guys watching it, anybody you guys know Anchorman, you know FallOut is the holy grail of video games to this guy. It is FallOut is his Jesus Christ. It is his Lord and Savior. FallOut is the game for Anchorman. Now, with I know it's not out. I know it's going to be a minute before it's released. I understand this. But with you being such a FallOut freak, with the news of it being, having mod support, well, a couple of things. Number one, is it when it drops? Two questions. I'm sorry. When it drops, is it to you, in your opinion, is it instantly Game of the Year, which I kind of know the answer to? And number two, what do you actually think about the trailer? How people are crying about the graphics, and also the mod support that is coming to Xbox One first, and then eventually PS4.
Let me see what I'm going to start with. I'm going to talk about the graphics first. The issue with the graphics was destroyed at E3. It was just destroyed because all we saw from that trailer was a couple still shots here and there, and it was like, okay, it doesn't look so great. But then when we finally saw that gameplay, you see what they put that into. You look around the environment, and it is extremely detailed with amazing lighting. Draw distance is absolutely stunning. So I mean, you see what they put it into. And geez, I can't even think about how a stupid critique of that at this point in time. If you're still going around complaining about the graphics, go back to whatever holodeck you were born on in the future. I don't know, but geez. Yeah. What other parts of the question? It was
Is it instantly Game of the? Because it drops in October. So it has to compete with Witcher and Dark Knight. Is it instantly Game of the Year for you? And what do you think of the mod support coming to consoles?
I'll start with the mod support one. This has just been a overall thing with Bethesda. They've really allowed mods to extend the shelf life of their game. Like, look at Skyrim. They're still making mods for Skyrim. That came out in 2011. This is 2015, and they're still playing that game, which it's a great game. Don't get me wrong, but really
incredible
game. It's kind of amazing how long that keeps going on and on and on. So I mean, mods have definitely helped Bethesda, and like there's even mods for Fallout 3 in New Vegas still being made. it's kind of insane. And Bethesda has supported mods, and the community loves Bethesda for it. And so what they've done, especially if you look at Doom, they're adding Snap Map, which is allowing anybody on any platform to make any map, and it will support mods for everybody. So like, you'll look at it and you'll say, okay, if some guy on PC makes a map that's impossible, or makes a mods it so your character skin looks like Sonic the Hedgehog and you run really fast. Doom. They can mess around with stuff, and everybody reaps the benefits of that, for good or for better or worse, honestly. So there's the benefit along that front. With Fallout getting mods, right now that feature is exclusive to Xbox. We don't know if it's coming to PlayStation. I know they've said that it might come a little bit later. We don't know. This seems to be more of an issue on Sony, allowing this cross-contamination of of PC and console, which Microsoft, we already know, is doing the Windows 10 deal, so they're totally fine with that. It seems whether or not Sony is willing to compromise I don't want to call it security because it's not really security. Let's just call it integrity of the PlayStation to support mods, which I think and ultimately they'll end up doing just kind of out of peer pressure, and it doesn't really hurt them. But I think that's eventually what's going to happen. But in the meantime, it's exclusive to Xbox, that particular feature, which will definitely extend the life of the Fallout. And if you look at games that didn't initially have mods or had mods in mind with like Fallout, New Vegas, or Fallout 3, and now you have a game that's going to support that.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Game of the year? Game of the year? Instantly?
Instantly Game of the Year? Looking at it from my own personal biasness, yes. But from a more objective standpoint, the other contenders were Bloodborne, but Bloodborne got destroyed by The Witcher.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
It's really hard for a game like Bloodborne to be Game of the Year, because
it's hard for exclusives to be Game of the Year.
What?
It's hard for exclusives to be Game of the Year in my eyes.
I mean, there are some exclusives that get past it. They are able to prove themselves to be Game of the Year material, like Last of Us 2 years ago. I mean, there are games that are able to do it, but it's just really hard for a game that doesn't have that. I wouldn't say Bloodborne has that mass appeal. Not a lot of people like a really, really hard game. There's the core and hardcore gamer market, which loves a good challenge on occasion. So, I mean, it does appeal to that group. But for Game of the Year status, I don't think most people would say Bloodborne would be a contender. Then you have The Witcher. The Witcher's downfall was really just like the high barrier of entry in terms of lore. Just because if you've never played the other two games, it is extremely deep. Like, you spend 8 hours just trying to find out what the hell's going on. Like, okay, who are the Redanians? Who are the Nilfgaardians? Or what's Novigrad? What's a Witcher? What's Kier Morn? Like, just random stuff like that. It ultimately, that's the biggest downfall of the game. I love The Witcher. I've been playing the show The Witcher. But that would be the downfall of it. And like, there's bugs and stuff, but I don't really bother with bugs too much. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh yeah, the rest of the games that are coming out, you got Batman. Yeah, it honestly, to me, Batman looks more of the same. It looks like Arkham City again, which is fine. I liked Arkham City. But then you got the whole Batmobile thing, which a lot of people are saying it feels kind of forced. But then you had Fallout, and I think the reason why Fallout might take Game of the Year is simply because of how they announced it. The way they announced the game was that they didn't tell anybody jack shit about the game for 5 years. They didn't say anything since Fallout 3 about the game's existence. They didn't say anything since Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, whatever. This game's been in development since 2009. They didn't say anything. And then in 2015, they announced the game. Everybody's extremely hyped, and then they show gameplay at E3 with a release date in 2015.
That's great marketing. That is great.
And I can't think of any other game that's going to even get close to it, honestly.
Final question, and I won't hold you to this. So with PlayStation coming out, and I hate what they did with Shenmue. I mean, that was fucking stupid. But with Shenmue, and then the remake of Final Fantasy VII, and to me, one of the best looking games, Horizon. And Xbox showing ReCore, and mainly backwards compatibility was their biggest thing. A lot of people are going back and forth crying about which company won E3. And you guys know my stance. I believe gamers win E3, et cetera, et cetera. With those two going back and forth and crying, does Bethesda, not Microsoft, Sony, does Bethesda with Fallout 4 and Doom, is it a landslide they take the cake at E3?
The issue why, because I've stated in the past, I absolutely hate when people say gamers won E3. I think it's a cop-out answer.
Shots fired at me.
Shots fired. There's nothing but shots here. But I just really, with Sony stuff, talking to a lot of people, average gamer types, they either don't know what Shenmue is or don't care. Final Fantasy VII, we're still obsessing over a remake. We're just trying to get out of remastered here. Like we're trying to get them to stop with that, and now you're begging for another one. I mean, so there's a lot of games. Last Guardian.
Looked like
people
shit.
were questioning whether or not that was a lot of fun. Horizon was definitely the show stealer for me from Sony's E3. With Microsoft, I mean, it's a lot. It was a lot of their heavy hitter stuff. We got Gears, Halo, Forza back, and the standard Trinity as usual.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, for me, that didn't do much for me. But I mean, other people really enjoy that kind of stuff. And ultimately, I think the games they showed were really kind of just safe games. But what they came out with was more console war related stuff, like features, technology, things that people are going to be doing like a checklist for. Like yep. And so I think Microsoft's was more also geared towards the 360 crowd. So I mean, if you're looking just between those two, it depends on who you are. If you're a 360 guy looking for a reason to move up, Microsoft gave you one. If you're a PS4 guy who used to be a 360 guy, Microsoft gave you a reason to move up now. With Sony, if you're looking for a reason to keep your PlayStation 4 and keep playing it, they gave you quite a bit if you're into the Japanese market or into the Japanese games. But honestly, I still think Bathesda came out ahead because the games that they showed were all games that were coming out either 2015 or early 2016 for the most part. I think Battlecry is the only exception to that. I mean, they had plans for it. They have an idea behind it, and they really and honestly, that was the one moment whenever Todd Howard walked out on stage at Microsoft's conference, announced mod support. Like, I was wondering what the hell he was doing there. You were here last night. No more. I can't take it
more.
But yeah. Okay.
All right. So Bethesda. So saying gamers 1E3 is a cop out, huh?
Yeah, I just think it's a cop out because that's not the answer anyone's actually looking for. Because it's like, oh yeah, we won, and it's like, yeah. I guess if you're a multi-console owner, but that's not what people are really asking. They're looking for who had the best show.
Now, to me, I don't mind saying who has the best show, but who won E3. But all right, man, we're gonna get up out of here. If you guys, I will be linking Anchorman's channel description. I mean, if you guys are sub to him, you guys up to me. I'm pretty sure it's up to him because he got me a lot of my subs when I first started. So I'm sure you guys know who he is. If you guys are playing Payday 2, me and Anchorman are pretty much beast into this game. We've been having spares left and right. We've had the liability KidSmoove a few times with us. So
liability smooth.
If you guys are playing Payday 2, please add me or Anchorman on Xbox, and please understand the game. Don't come in brand new because we might not let you in.
At least be level 20. At least level 20.
With knowledge of the game, please. Otherwise, you're no good to us, and we're gonna carry the team like normal. But we're going ahead and get up out of here, Anchorman. Once again, man, I appreciate everything you did for my channel starting off, and I appreciate you coming on today, talking with me, man. It was a pleasure, my dude.
Oh, anytime, man.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here, get back to some gaming. This is Fame Entertainment from the official WeGameHere.com, and I'm out.
From the bando, niggas been stacking them bands though. I stay in the hood like a bando, and I look like money, no camo.
Yeah, camouflage behind T, hustle, souped up, Clark Kent. I am a tame, the fuck with you lame. My side bitch your main, blame it on fame.
This is no flex zone, got ammo. Yo ho, do what I say so. Leave a nigga stiff like